he kind of perfected that.
It doesn't sound good.
You know,
People have done some really
throughout history, Ivan the Terrible, horrible, bad guy.
bad stuff. Yeah.
Bad guy. But okay, so that got me to thinking about the I've talked about this before, and I couldn't remember what it was called, but it's called the Milgram experiment. It's the authority experiment, where basically it's the experiment of obedience to authority figures.
Is this? There's a movie about a prison. Is this the one you're talking about?
No, that's a Stanford prison experiment. Something totally different.
Okay.
Uh, this one is there's three people. There's a
Hmm.
volunteer subject, and there's actually a administrator, and there's a another participant who plays the role of the learner. Quote. The participants drew slips of paper to determine their roles, but
Hmm.
both of them. So you, as the volunteer, play the role of the teacher, and the other participant, one's running the experiment, and the other is the person that you're going to be shocking. Right? This person who you're going to be shocking when they answer the question wrong lets you know just on the side that they have a little heart condition, right? So, and this is true. So the teacher is given, you are the teacher, as the was given the means to electric shock generator. So when the learner, who's the other participant who just told you that they have a little heart condition,
Hmm.
answered the question wrong, you give them a shock at
Okay.
15-volt increments for each wrong answer, right?
Increasing.
Increasing, yeah. So subjects. So you believe that you're increasing with every wrong answer the voltage, right?
Okay.
Up to the point where, you know,
Can't kill him.
yeah, exactly. Some test subjects paused at 135 volts and began to question the purpose of the experiment. Most continued after being assured that they would not be held responsible. A few subjects began to laugh nervously
So
or
they didn't.
exhibit.
They had no idea that it wasn't real,
No, they
or
had
was it
no idea
real?
it was real, and they said so. And okay, so 135 volts that could be that
It's
could be
lethal.
deadly.
Yeah.
So here's and this is the whole point was they were trying to figure out what happened to the people in Germany, basically, right?
Oh,
Who are
who
who are,
got
who
roped in with
are
the Nazis? Yeah.
right who are considered a generally moral people,
Hmm.
you know. So when you would
But if you think about it, all that weird porn and stuff, it all comes from Germany.
I know, but that comes from being raised by your mother and no father in the house to whip you.
I
But
guess. Man, weird.
That's, but okay. So if you would try to pause the person who is running running the study would this is all they would say in this order. They'd say, "Please continue." Number two, they'd say, "You try to stop again. The experiment requires that you continue." Number three, it's absolutely essential that you continue. Four, you have no choice. You must go on. And this is when you're tell them, no, I don't want to do it.
And
So
what was keeping the teacher there to do it? What was their motivation for staying and not just saying no and quitting?
$4 an hour.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't like you're going to get in trouble if you don't finish, or you're going to be
No, you sign.
nothing happens to you.
No, I think it says you signed something, but
When did this take place?
65, 74, somewhere.
So it was a decent amount of money.
Yeah, 1961
Okay.
was when they started it, and it was supposed to look at the. This is actually they started these experiments 3 months after the start of the of Adolf Eichmann's trial in Jerusalem.
Hmm.
So, and they said, so they're like, because the guards and the Nazis they'd always cop to the fact that we were just following
Following
orders.
orders, yeah.
Just following orders. So if the subject still wished to stop after 4 successive verbal prods, the experiment was halted. Otherwise, it was halted after the subject was given a maximum 450-volt shock 3 times. 3 times in
Wow.
succession. So 65% of subjects did it. So including where they would continue shocking after you were not, they would not, there would be no response.
Wow.
Right. So they would give you shock. Anyways. And so they said, well, they repeated this experiment over and over.
Hmm.
And like worldwide, 65% of people go all the way through. uh, to the end.
We're no quitters.
Right. Yeah. Hey,
Hey, there you go.
you. Hey, you're getting paid $4 an hour too. So
What was their conclusion?
their conclusion that people are effed up, and people have a general bias towards obedience of people that they believe in are in authority. Now, here's the crazy thing, and that is just a peer group of one person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just have one person in a white lab coat. You don't know this person.
Yeah.
You've never seen their.
So generally, they're saying that people want to be told what to do.
People want to be told what to do, and
they don't want to disobey.
They don't want to disobey, and if they're given that, hey, you're not going to be held responsible for this, or you're doing this for. Yeah, this is at Yale. This was done at Yale. People, people say it's unethical,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's probably one of the most important
life
studies
lessons,
I've ever read.
Well, there was another one, and this is along the same lines.
But yeah, that's a little bit different. But hang
on.
No,
this is a different one. Go ahead. But there's a different one too.
But also, there's a so some of these people who participated in it, they were worried about potential like post-traumatic, with the people who were in the experiment. But a lot of them were glad. 84%, they were followed up in the study. Were glad or very glad to have participated in it. Because they realized
that
they were subject to that sort of peer pressure.
Control,
that's just a peer pressure of one person. I mean, think about the mob mentality of the Nazi regime.
Yeah.
But that's
it's crazy.
That's bad stuff. Oh, dude, it's super bad stuff. And
that's like born into us, though. That's instinct. I don't. If it's 65% around the world, give or take, and that's just part of human nature. That's not learned. That proves that that's part of it's born into us.
Right, but so what does that tell? That tells me you got to always be on the lookout for when people say, "Oh, that's above my pay grade," or "I'm just doing my job," sort of. Dude, that's when you should be like on the alert. You should be like, "Oh man, something's not right." If you're not getting the answers that you want, you know what I'm saying, or a police officer, you say, "Dude, I'm allowed to march here," or some guy harassing you about being let's say a march or a demonstration, and you don't have a permit. That's all BS, right? If you're not blocking traffic, if you're not blocking traffic, you don't need a permit. It all falls under the First Amendment,
right?
And you'll have cops saying, "Well, that's blah. That's just following orders." And that's what the Nazis said too, there, buddy. You always throw that on them. They don't like that.
Yeah,
but you always got to be aware of that. And apparently, guys who were drafted into the Vietnam War, they were able to. They realized, hey, you know what? I have to be a conscientious objector. Because he wrote a letter and back.
Who is this?
Oh, it's just somebody who was drafted, who was actually a Yale student, participated in the study.
Oh, okay.
And when he was contacted about the follow up, he wrote back. He said, so he wrote back to him. He said, "Well, as a subject in 1964, though I believed I was hurting someone, I was totally unaware of why I was doing so. Few people ever realize when they are acting according to their own beliefs and when they are meekly submitting to authority," right? So are you acting on your own beliefs, or are you submitting to authority? To permit myself to be drafted with the understanding that I am submitting to authority's demand to do something very wrong would make me frightened of myself. I am fully prepared to go to jail if I'm not granted conscientious objector status. Indeed, it is the only course I can take to be faithful to what I believe. My only hope is that members of my board, that's the draft board, act equally according to their conscience. Which, man, dude, I totally feel that way. I mean, I totally bought into the original Iraq War or the war with Afghanistan. I think most people did, but where are we at now, man? We're how many years in, man? We're like,
who knows? Who knows?
10 years in. We're not like,
yeah, I don't know. And especially when you're in the military, you're almost brainwashed into believing whatever you're told and to follow up on it. And
yeah, I mean, I did the counter-narcotics operations with the DEA and the Coast Guard.
And the whole time I did it too, and the whole time I said, this is illegal. This is completely illegal for a Navy force to be doing this. But nobody listened to me, so.
Yeah. What do you do, right? I mean, I wasn't actively participating in the busting of them, but you know, and somebody was going to take my spot if I wasn't there.
And I didn't really care enough to make a big deal about it, but I let it be heard. And there were places where we were recorded for our voices were recorded for their operations. They record live everything we're doing. And so I made it be known that I was speaking up against it.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
In the control room when we were doing operations, they record everything, just in case something happens, for record.
Right.
They can go minute by minute what was happening.
Right.
And, I was up there. They use nukes to do navigation stuff and plotting out things. So I was up there. So yeah,
they're asking your opinion. They're getting some.
They usually did not ask my opinion, but they often received it.
They say, "John, we're going in hard and fast on this target. We want to know what do you think? You think we should lay down the suppression fire with the
something like that?" Often, there was one time a couple times I would give my opinion, and they actually tend to listen to me, but where I gave my opinion to the captain, and he actually was like, "Yeah, that's probably right." I was like, "Oh, really? He's crazy? Made it up."
He didn't say, "You go to your bunk, handcuff yourself."
Yeah. But anyway, along with that Nazi thing, another experiment. This happened. It must have been 70s or 80s.
Okay.
This was a teacher, and I don't know where it was. It was in the U.S., but it was a teacher somewhere in the U.S. I don't know what state or town. But he basically started this club in the school, and he called it the Wave.
That's the after-school special.
It was a true story, though.
They redid that. They just redid that.
They just did it in Germany.
Yeah.
It was German. That's what I was going to talk about. They did it, and they did an after-school special about it. And basically, he can get this whole group going, and then he presented them at the end. He said, "You're going to meet your leader," and then he played them, a Hitler speech, and they all started crying and falling out, and everything. Now they've recently redone it, in a movie, and it's called The Wave, and it's all in German. It's in German, but it's got subtitles, and it's on Netflix.
Yeah, dude, I remember watching. I
remember it too.
Watching that.
Yeah,
the first go round. I was pretty.
It was pretty intense.
I was pretty affected by that. I knew right away. I was like, I would never do that.
And he was smart because
watched the Holocaust.
Yeah, but he was smart because what he did was pick the kids that were kind of the outcasts, and he gave them an important role and made them important. So he got them in, and then the others were they follow her. They do whatever you tell them to do. If it's cool, they do it. And so he got the ones that would be difficult, the outcasts that had thought for themselves, made them feel important.
You put them in charge. People who were marginalized,
and the rest will follow because they're just followers. They're just what do you call those little things that follow everything?
Robots.
Well, that wasn't the word I was looking for.
You're thinking lemmings.
Lemmings. They're just lemmings. They'll follow along with everything just to be popular. So, and then I haven't seen the movie yet. I started to watch it, but then it was in subtitles, and I was like, I can't do this right now. But I do want to watch it again. But it was all in German.
If I want to read, I'll go to school.
Yeah, and it takes place in Germany, so I think it'll probably be pretty good.
Oh, strong.
Yeah, so
awesome.
We should watch that, and we'll give that a review one of these days. But that's definitely a Netflix because I have started on it, but couldn't do the